welcome to another Type 40 Extra with me, Starry-Eyed Girl. This time I am joined by royalty, but it is not Birmingham's King of the Geeks. It is our lovely Queen Charlotte.
Well, I'm now, thanks to a lovely fan, I've technically got a crown now.
You have.
In thanks to a lovely fan, and you know who you are. So
I think I know who he is as well.
yeah,
Yes, yes, you are official royalty. Dan can't be with us. I think he said something about needing to rest his knees.
oh yes, because he's an old man now, folks.
He's
Susie's
only
set the
32,
trend.
so it is just us two. And the reason why we're here is because we recently went to see Jurassic World Rebirth. We both love dinosaurs. We both love Jonathan Bailey, who's in the film.
Yes,
But there is a link to Doctor Who.
yes.
So if you have just tuned in thinking, oh my God, why are they talking about Jurassic World and not Doctor Who? We will get to that, I promise. It's a tenuous link, but it is there.
You guys should be used to that now with us lot. We find a way, to quote the original Jurassic Park. Doctor Who finds a way to always be part of the conversation somehow.
It does. And generally, as Doctor Who fans, we do tend to find it. Anyway, we just see things, don't we? And it reminds us of Doctor Who. So please, we hope that you will stay with us.
Yeah. And to be fair, though, I think dinosaurs are sort of that... It's like that kid thing, isn't it? Of that sense of wonder. That sort of idea of these creatures which were absolutely terrifying and massive and sort of majestic. They lived once. So, I think humans just are naturally inquisitive and love the idea of, now we can, in our movies, make these creatures come back to life. Let's show it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think whether it's Doctor Who, whether it's movies, whether it's other properties, dinosaurs seem to always be sort of relevant and seem to be loved. But I think the original Jurassic Park probably started a lot of that, I would think.
I would think it did. Well, it was certainly my first movie that I saw at the cinema. That wasn't like a Disney cartoon, like a full feature length adult film. It completely transformed my life. I was obsessed with it. I collected the dinosaurs. It was everywhere. I had a Jurassic Park backpack that I used to take to school with me. So that probably is one of my earliest memories. I think I was about 7, and it terrified me. And my brother went to see it with me, and he's a couple of years younger than me, and he cried as soon as it started. With the raptor attack, he burst into tears, but he still sat there and he watched the whole thing. Because there's just something thrilling about dinosaurs.
Yeah, and like you said, I think it's that scare factor. Like, I've always said that some of the shots in that original movie, they're horror movie shots.
Yeah.
The way, like, the T-Rex in the night scenes, when it's attacking any of them, like, whether it's the kids or like the group of Alan Grant and everybody, that is shot like it's sort of like a slasher movie. The way the head.
Yeah.
So I think it was what Jurassic Park did. It was this lovely mixture of like adventure movie, sort of family movie with the scares and the horror. And I think that was sort of, people were so excited to see those sort of genres sort of mix and meet and do such a good job.
Yeah, and it's I don't know if you've ever read the novel, Charlotte, but
I haven't, and I'm tempted to read the book now.
It's very good. It's very, it's a lot heavier than the film, because there's the entire like message of the novel, and it does come through in the film. It's more about the dinosaurs aren't monsters. The dinosaurs are animals acting like they are. It's more about people thinking they're God and having that power. And a lot of that message comes through Ian Malcolm's character in his speeches. So it's more about that and what happens, You know, when you realise you haven't got this control, you know, it all goes to
Yeah, and
chaos.
it's that idea of also like commercializing something that we should never try and like
Mm,
that whole line with Malcolm when he says, "Oh, you put it on a lunchbox, you didn't think," and
yeah.
it's that idea of us, like you said, greed. So,
Yes. Oh, yes.
but
So
that,
many good lines.
yeah, so that's
Um,
sort of the original. So because of that, we wanted to see this new one, didn't we? To
well,
see
yeah,
sort of how they're gonna do it now.
because the Jurassic World movies, they kind of moved away from that. Because in the first one, they have actually for a long time they've had control
Yeah,
over these dinosaurs to the point where people are fed up. They're bored with dinosaurs. I can't imagine that myself, but you know that was
yeah,
the idea, and now we're into genetically engineering more, modifying them, messing about with that. The Indominus Rex, and it's curious that the Indominus Rex, it's got its intelligence,
yeah, because there's
and
human DNA mixed
it
in there.
escapes because it tricks the humans into letting it out, whereas before in the other Jurassic films, it was just dinosaurs. They were just acting like dinosaurs. They
Yeah.
escaped because of
Well,
the
in the
power
in the
cut
other
and everything.
ones, it was like just pure natural sort of instinct, wasn't it?
Mm,
Of wanting to be free, wanting to sort of escape. But like you said, with the whole genetic side that the world movies introduced, it was this idea of no, they can be more clever, they can
mhm,
be more sort of scheming, they can be more conniving because of the human element that got introduced with the genetics.
mhm.
Whereas dinosaurs were clever before, but now they had a bit of human intelligence mixed in, which sort of, like I said, so that was sort of the big thing that defined the World trilogy before. So as soon as they announced this movie, I was a bit like, you can't do that again because you've had three movies of that. So what's going to be the sort of the new focus with this new movie?
Mhm.
What they're going to harken back to more, what how they're going to sort of do Jurassic for now, because we've this is like the seventh or eighth movie, so they
Yeah,
needed
it's the
to.
seventh movie. They needed a new hook, and I think
Yes,
and the man who did the screenplay, he did the
David
original.
Kep.
Yes, Kep. He was part of the original writers of the original films, and I know he was very keen to go back to right. We need to get back to dinosaurs being dangerous, and the way that Rebirth has tackled this is our climate is not right for dinosaurs. So the premise is that dinosaurs can no longer survive. It's too toxic to them. They're dying out. The only way that they're okay is if close near the equator.
Yeah, because
They
that's
seem to.
closest to what they had back when they were alive. Like that, the environment's the most sort of perfect because it's closest
Yeah.
to
So this is all
to
kind of
homes years ago.
explained. This is all explained like going in. So now there's no go areas across the planet. And it's basically humans don't go there, it's not safe. Um, yeah, it's illegal. And it opens up, I think it's in New York.
Yes,
And we're treated to this sight of this poor dinosaur, this poor was it Brachiosaurus, and it's
yes.
dying, and nobody cares. It's really upsetting.
Well, it's literally treated like just it's stopping traffic. Like
Yeah,
it's a
it's just a
nuisance. That's the
nuisance,
vibe.
and there's everyone's honking the cars, and I'll get it cleared up. So it's kind of you after, and you kind of like, whoa, this is quite a unforgiving world that you've set it in, but it does make sense.
The setting for this new mutant, you sort of see the beginnings of it, and then a lot of the beginning scene actually comes back to near the end because it's where they originally were still doing the experiments. So it's one of those facilities.
Yeah, so it's on the island. Is it on the original island?
One of the original islands
Is
from
it?
like for the first park. They say it's one of the original
Yeah.
sort of testing
Yeah.
areas.
So there's this big D-Rex, Distortus Rex. So you don't really get a good look at it, but it's more than just your T-Rex. It's got added limbs. It's got this grotesque head.
But at this point, it is fully in shadow. Like, you just see the eyes, you just see a rough outline of it. And you see a very poor fella get killed horribly. Like, you sort of see the beginning of how he gets killed, and then it cuts.
But so there's all these scientists in this facility, and Distortus Rex manages to escape its facility because one of the scientists ate a Snickers on his break and drops the wrapper. And I scoffed at this, didn't I, at the time, Charlotte? But but apparently this was a thing that happened in space.
Apparently a rocket, it's not beat for beat, but there was a rocket launch which had issues because of a similar thing. So they have roughly taken this idea from actual real life.
So yeah, the truth is stranger than fiction. But however, how it's shot, and I do like Gareth Edwards, the director, and I think on the whole he did a brilliant job. But the way he zoomed in on the Snickers wrapper, it was like a Final Destination film.
It was.
And it was hard to take seriously, I've got to admit, and I did have a bit of a giggle. But if you can get past that, everything that follows after that, you've got the horror of it escaping, everyone's dying, boom, we're straight into.
Yeah, I think what that does well, like you said, it is a bit of the plot. You sort of have to, like you said, turn your brain off a little bit and accept it. And to be honest, that's the only real weakness I find throughout the movie. There are moments where things happen because the plot needs them to. Like, you can't use any other term. And there's a little bit of, oh, that didn't quite make sense. But I've said this before, I can be forgiving of that if other areas are done really well. And for me, this movie was a really good example of the plot, yes, weak in bits, but all the other aspects, characters, music, tone, setting, direction, they were done really well. So I can sort of go, it's not a 10 out of 10 movie, and it will lose some points because of plot, but actually all the other aspects I really enjoyed. So I think that's what you have to have in mind when you watch this movie a little bit.
So then we move to present day, and as we were saying, we're in New York. People are just fed up of dinosaurs, to the point where they don't care that there's one dying in the middle of the highway. And we meet our main characters, which is Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson. And I've got to say, I was really pleasantly surprised because I heard a little bit of the commotion. She'd done an interview about the male gaze. But on the whole, I thought she was really good. She wasn't a girl boss. I didn't feel like she was. I think I would know. I think you would know if.
Yeah, we would both. So I think we're a bit sensitive to that now because of what
there was
media have done.
There was nothing she did that made me like go, or make my eyes roll. Or she's ex-military, which explains
her skills and
her
what
skills,
she
her
does.
fitness, her attitude. She's got some trauma that she's dealing with, some backstory, and her motivations. Yeah, well, at the start it's money, but she's that kind of like mercenary kind of character.
Yeah. I think you get the vibes at the beginning, and Kraft's the other character you get introduced to. Sort of is starting this of, she just wants a job that means she doesn't have to do these sort of dangerous tasks anymore. She doesn't want to lose anybody, I get the vibe. So she can get paid stupid money, and it is stupid money. Like, he literally says, well, how many zeros to her? Then she's seen this as, I take this job, then I'm sorted for life. That's sort of her motivation here.
Yeah, she's very. I don't want to say flippant, but she's very just kind of. This is it, one and done.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the film, she starts to care for the people around her, and obviously the ultimate goal, which is so this pharmaceutical guy, he's a British actor, of
Oh
course
yeah.
he is, bit of a sleazy kind of pharmaceutical company man, but he's discovered that because dinosaurs live so long, it's because they have a really low risk of heart disease. So they
Yes.
figured out that there's something in
Their DNA.
dino DNA that could help with heart disease in humans. And he's done some research about it and he thinks he's cracked it, but he needs 3 samples, which just coincidentally need to be a
Yes.
land dinosaur, a sea dinosaur, and an air dinosaur.
We had to have
Um,
our elements, folks, in
we've
these
got to
movies.
have
We
our
had to
elements, but
have.
it is. I've got. Yeah, it's contrived as hell, all right. But this is the reason. So this is the impetus for him to just get.
Yeah.
We've got to go somewhere to get the dinosaurs. We know it's illegal. What's worth doing it? So this is the reason. Yeah. So you just kind of got to go with it. Um, and there's a personal kind of motivation for Zora because her mum died
Yeah, he sort of
of a
slips
heart
that
attack.
into her, doesn't
So
he?
there's a little
Well,
bit of like he's almost like manipulating her, isn't he?
God, yeah. He's manipulating them all,
Um,
really.
and then so we've got the mercenary, and the next thing
We
we need a dino expert who is played by
Jonathan Bailey.
and yeah, and he's fantastic. I'm not just saying that because we like him. He's he's nerdy in the right way. He's awkward. He's very much basically he's the 11th Doctor. He's got his tweed. He's got his bow tie. He's got his glasses. He's got his little nervous tics where he has to eat mints and it helps him think. And but what it does, it makes him a really well-rounded character, and he's the foil to Scarlett Johansson's
Yeah.
character, and they play off each other really well.
I think you needed somebody like Henry, because his character is Henry Loomis, to be sort of the die-hard dino sort of
Mm-hmm.
enthusiast. He adores these creatures. That's what it sort of sets very quickly in these museum scenes when he talks about how nobody comes to see the museum anymore, and you can
Mm-hmm.
feel how that gets to him and how sort of dejected he is. And when he does sort of explain about the dinos, he literally lights up. There's no other description,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all sort of lots of non-verbal cues Jonathan does to sort of really, like you say, this is a guy who later on he gets called a weirdo and he smiles and he's very happy
Yes.
with that
Yeah.
label and he sort of embraces it.
Mm-hmm.
But he's actually got a real heart about him, which is nice to see that he's not just there to be Mr. Facts, Mr. Information Dump. He's actually got a real moral sense about him, which then shows throughout the movie. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, he's definitely a foil to Zora because she's pure business, money at the beginning. He's there for the love of to see these creatures. That's literally how Krebs gets him to come on. He sort of taunts him and says, "Well, you'll be the guy that's just worked in a museum. Surely you want
Yeah.
to actually see these creatures."
In
And
the
that's what
in their
gets him.
habitat as well, not just
Yeah, natural sort of habitat, actually get close to the dinosaur. So that's what gets him to agree to come.
first. There's they take the mick out of Henry
They did.
because he's never been on a boat before. The usual, but then obviously then they grow to respect him. They work together. Henry gets more confident.
What this movie does well is it sort of has the stereotypes you sort of know from a Jurassic movie. And in some cases, I think it actually adds a lot and plays with them a bit. And then in others, it doesn't. So it just depends which character you sort of are focusing in on in that moment.
I,
Like I
I
said,
wonder.
I think Henry's a good, for example, a bit of a, you've got the trope of, oh, he's this nerdy science guy who's not very, like I said, there's a couple of times in the movie he can't do all the physical stuff because
Yeah.
that's not his wheelhouse.
Mhm.
But actually, he's the one that convinces Zora to sort of change by the end of the movie. So that's the change that I like about his character.
Yeah, he's very he brings a lot of heart. It's kind of like, she's not quite an ice queen, but there is some thawing going off and just thinking more about other people than just herself and her own money. The plot B of the
Yeah,
movie, which to be honest, I still don't really understand why it's there.
I think it's because they wanted some civilians.
But these civilians are stupid. There's no other way. So while all this is going off, there's this bloke. I can't even remember what his name, but I really remember his surname is Delgado.
Yes.
And he's in a sailboat with his two daughters. Well, I can't remember the names of either because they were that, impressive. One's older, she's about to go to college, and she's there with her boyfriend who he can't stand, and he's called Xavier.
Yeah,
I
I
know that
remember
because
him.
it gets shouted a lot. And they're just randomly just sailing in this illegal
Well, no, I
area like you
think,
do.
because I thought about it afterwards, I don't think they were in illegal seas. I think they
You
were in
think,
actual seas they were allowed to be in.
you think so?
Yeah, because the mercenary ship had to travel to get to them.
Mm.
And I don't
But
think they, like
still,
I said, that they're on holiday. I don't think they would just be. I could be wrong here, but I think they're not. I think it's sort of you have to listen a little bit, but
mm,
I'm sure they say they're in the Atlantic Ocean. They're not in this area, which is off bound.
yeah, it's still really close though.
Oh no,
I
it will be.
would,
Yeah,
yeah, I just don't think a responsible father would be
I know, and Duncan brings that
sailing
up to
anywhere
him.
near. They get attacked. Their boat gets attacked. By, is it the Spinosaurus, that one,
Yeah,
or is
I know it. No, it's the Mosasaurus, but they see the Spinos first.
it, and again, there's nothing particularly nefarious. It's literally territory, and they're just doing
Yeah,
what they do, and they're in their water. And yeah, and the locations, because a lot of this was filmed in Thailand. Um, the exterior stuff, and it's absolutely stunning. And once they get on the island, um, we have our A team and our B team where they get split up. So we've got our three main characters. Well, sorry, our four main characters, and then the family gets split up.
oh, but there's a cool moment before that because I think for the boyfriend is basically in the attack. One of the daughters goes in the water first, the younger one, and then the older sister like jumps in after her. And there's this whole moment where this girl, this little one, is literally sliding going into the water, and Krebs could save her. This is
Yeah.
also a big thing that comes up later on, and he lets her fall basically. And then in that moment when both the daughters are in danger, the boyfriend actually jumps in the water and saves her. So for all that sort of he's lazy, he doesn't do anything, which he was a waste of space.
He really
And
was.
I was sort of rolling my eyes. But actually
Yeah.
I was like, no, you've actually got this lad to do something quite heroic. So you're actually building on him a bit. You're showing he's got a bit more to him, which I liked. Because the dad then comments on it as well.
He does. That's the first kind of nice thing he's had to say. Yeah, I really was not struck on the dad. I actually think he should have died in a dinosaur attack because it didn't bring anything. I feel like what this film did really well is getting the wonder back, looking at
Yes.
dinosaurs. So I think that's been lacking in the
Yeah.
Jurassic World films.
And there was a scene like because I didn't look at reviews beforehand in depth, but I
Mm,
scanned a tiny bit, and a lot of like the critics as well was sort of citing this scene as this is one of the best bits of the
mm,
movie. because of that. They said the way it's shot with the music and Bailey's acting, it was, and I was sort of thinking like myself, why does this scene work so well? And I think it's because actually it was so earnest, and I feel like we've lost that in cinema. Characters who aren't just being snarky all the time or doing one-liners or trying to be funny. It was just this guy who's adored these creatures all his life, actually being able to go up and touch one and be close. And you could see the process of Henry's emotions. I love my non-verbal acting because I think that's harder to do. And you
Oh,
could
yeah.
just see him go from being sort of nervous, shy, to being brave to do it, and then being, like you said, utterly sort of amazed and taken back. And he gets emotional.
He's captivated, and what's lovely is the reaction of the other characters, especially
Yes.
Zora.
She sort of
Because
lets him have the moment.
well, she starts to kind of bask in the glow, and she's stuck because before it's just been do this mission, get paid,
Yeah.
that's it, and then she gets to stop and like, oh, bloody hell, there's dinosaur. I'm here, I'm touching. But Scarlett Johansson
Oh,
is a
massive fan as well,
massive
yeah.
dinosaur fan, which I didn't know until after. And she practically pestered, the producers and everything to get, a role in
Yeah.
this film. She's like, oh yeah, I want to be in a dinosaur film.
Well,
And I
yeah,
like that.
she sort of said like whenever she knew that a Jurassic World was being made, she would put herself forward. She would be like, I'd love to be in one of these movies. So she got it here. And I've said this before, the press circuit for this beforehand was lovely because it was just actors gushing about how much they loved the the old movies, the legacy, how important it is, how much it meant for them to be in this movie. They all were so good at that in the interviews, and it was genuine. Like you said, you could tell these are people who were fans. They're like us. Imagine if we could like be on the set of Doctor Who for an episode. We would be kids. We would be bouncing
Oh
with
yeah,
that
absolutely.
feeling.
So it's just refreshing, that the actors actually care about what they're in, and the gushing about it, and what they're not doing is lecturing
Oh
the
yeah,
audience.
there was no politicking at
No,
all.
no grandstanding.
No.
Just old-fashioned promoting the movie and talking about dinosaurs. So yeah, it was just lovely to see we get to see the T-Rex again.
Yes, we get the river raft scene, which
Yeah,
has also got a fun bit of trivia that this was from the original novel. This idea or this sort of the bones of this was from the original
yeah.
book.
So in the original Jurassic Park, the character, I think, was it Alan?
Yeah, it was Alan and the kids, I think.
I meant to escape the T-Rex by going on a raft down a river. Yeah, I understand why they didn't do it in the. I mean, there's so much in that first film anyway.
Yeah, and they just couldn't do it with the effects. They didn't think it would do it justice, they
Um,
said.
but in this, as an effect shot, it was really well done. The T-Rex is well realised. Yeah, I kind of wish I had seen Alan Grant do it, because I just feel like this was totally wasted on these two characters.
It's sort of, in those moments, you did sort of feel like, oh God, like, is he going to get killed?
Yeah, and he should have got killed there and
Sarah
then.
wanted it really
I
bad.
did. You're getting that impression, because then, like, the baton would have been passed to the boyfriend to be
Yeah, I
like,
think that would have been a nice sort of stakes thing to increase them more. I do,
uh,
yeah, I agree there. This feels like this movie at times is a massive Spielberg throwback, and I like how they do this.
yeah,
It feels very Indiana Jones,
it
this scene.
does. So there was a good mix of CG and real props, which again is another thing I started getting tired of with
Yeah.
Jurassic World. You need to have the real physical effects as well as the CG, because it just looks so much better. But yeah, I mean, on the whole, apart from them, a few plot points that we grumbled about, it looked good. And it was shot. It was shot, I think, on the same film as Jurassic Park as well. So
I know they
actually,
did
it
it on
just feel
film, so it felt, yeah, you could feel that when you were watching it.
it didn't have that, slickness or that, that glossiness. It looked really good. It looked in keeping with Jurassic Park. It had got the same overall kind of tone. The music I thought was really good. The cinematography was really good. Yeah, it was just those plot points really. But the main thing was I had a brilliant time. I was entertained. It is over 2 hours long. I think it's 2 hours 17. It is a
Yeah.
little bit too long. But generally I didn't really feel it.
No, I didn't, to be fair.
I would rate it I would say it's equal to Jurassic Park 3 and the first Jurassic World. I would kind of put it in that mold. It's never gonna be as good as the first one because that was the benchmark.
Yeah.
But I would say it's definite improvement on the other two films, and
Yeah.
I was invested in these characters, and I assume there will be more since it's made a lot of money.
It's basically won the international domestic box office for the summer. So
So
it's
it's
done very
beat off
well.
Superman and Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Like I said, domestically I think Superman's beat it now, but overall
Right.
worldwide it's high and it's pretty much not
Mm.
going to get touched for summer movies now.
Yeah.
No, where I would describe this to anybody is it's a really good popcorn movie. It's really good. It's characters you can actually connect to. Some of them less more than others, to be fair, but majority of them, I thought, yeah, I can get these characters, I can understand them, I actually feel something for them. It was nice just to have something that had that feel of 90s sort of Spielberg again. That sort of, like I said, here's an adventure movie, here's a mission, here's a team having to learn to get on a bit and sort of accept the differences on the team and learn from each other.
Absolutely. If I imagine it'll be onto streaming services soon.
I think this week it was on
Is it
streaming.
really? But yeah, if you haven't seen it and you want, you want a good popcorn movie, you just want to be entertained for a couple of hours. You could do a lot worse.
Yeah.
We both had a really good time, and the cinema we were in, it was packed, and
Yes.
this
And we were
wasn't,
in a big cinema in Manchester, so it
and
wasn't a
this
small
wasn't
one.
even the summer holidays. This was just a couple of weeks before
Yeah.
the kids broke up from school, and it was packed, and everybody seemed to be having a good time. I think that's it. When you're seeing families having a good time,
Yeah.
just think it's kind of
Yeah.
worth it for that
And
atmosphere.
kids are going to adore this. And also how and so many boys I think this is going to resonate with. And think about all the brands that have sort of
Mm.
been taken from young boys.
Yes.
This is finally something for them again, which I think, yes, I would fully support that.
We need to get the boys back. They've been done dirty with Star Wars and
Yeah, Doctor
Marvel and
Who,
Doctor
and
Who and all sorts of things. So yeah, it was heartwarming to see so many boys in the cinema, and you had experience of the boys at school
yeah, talking
talking
to me
about it.
about it, and we had a full conversation, me and a little lad, about the scenes, and he referenced, "Oh,
Mm.
the T-Rex thing was really
Yeah.
scary," and I really liked the D-Rex, and that was cool, and that sort of stuff. So it was lovely. So
Um,
now that we promised we would get to Doctor Who,
we get there in the end. Yeah, so we thought we had such a good time
yes,
with this dinosaur movie. We started talking about other dinosaur movies, other things that got dinosaurs in, and we decided that we'd watch Invasion of the Dinosaurs and dinosaurs on a
So on a
spaceship, just for the
spaceship.
hell of it, just because they've got dinosaurs in, just so I could use this as a prop for
Yeah,
Tracy. And again, I've just had the best week. I don't know about you, Charlotte, just watching these stories. I've seen them both before,
yeah,
obviously. Yeah, just so much fun. And you just think it's just a natural, I think, correlation, like we were saying about Doctor Who and monsters, Doctor Who and dinosaurs. Um, and obviously, like in Doctor Who and the Silurians, we get that T Rex
yeah.
in the caves, but to actually have dinosaurs in the episode. And I know, the effects are a bit ropey. But I can, we're seasoned classic Who fans. We can
Yeah,
get past that now.
yeah, we know what to expect.
I think the story for Invasion is fantastic. I love the twists and the turns. We're not gonna do an in-depth review. I mean, if you'd like us to, we will come back to it. We were just kind of going to talk about
Like,
our
the broad strokes.
after that kind of our favorite moments,
Yeah,
maybe because it's a long story, 6 episodes. But what I really love about it is that the dinosaurs aren't the main attraction. They're almost like a subplot, and I just love like the twists and turns of the story, and the cliffhanger where Sarah wakes up in space. I just think that's really inspired. And Captain Yates betraying that was such a huge revelation.
yeah,
Because sometimes key moments of classic Who will get spoilt just because it's been out there that long and
yeah.
I was quite new to it. But that was one of the things that was kept under wraps. I did not know that Captain Yates was going to do that. So that was kind of like, oh my god, yeah, that was a big moment for me. So was that the same for you when you watched it, or was
Well,
it
I
spoiled for you?
forgot. I knew at some point he turned in classic,
Mm,
but I forgot it was in this story
mm,
when I was watching it again. So as soon as that element got introduced, I was just like, "Oh God, this is the one where Yates
yeah.
turns." And what I love about how they do it, he doesn't become sort of like the villain of the piece. It's not out of
Oh
nowhere.
no.
You actually understand where he's coming from. You understand that in his head, he's actually doing a good thing by helping these scientists, by being with Whittaker to sort of get the world fixed. Because that's the whole point of this, some of the sort of the story here. It's sort of,
Mhm,
once again, it's classic Who using allegory. They are talking about environmental issues,
mhm,
the earth, sort of how we pollute it, sort of how we treat the earth. And some of these people, they honestly think the only solution is to basically reset. And Yates that's where I don't know what you felt like, but that's how I felt like Yates was coming to it. He's doing sort of a necessary evil for a good outcome. That's why
yeah,
he
but it's
turns.
it's for the greater good. Yeah, I think he's a sympathetic in this, and he doesn't want to do anything that's going to hurt the Doctor or anybody
Yes,
else, and he's so
every
angry.
time he tries to protect the Doctor, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and again, and I just think, yeah, he's very vulnerable, and the seeds are planted really good when he starts talking about how he felt after the events of the Green Death, and you can see he really believes in this cause. Like when he's
Yeah,
talking to Sarah about how quiet it is. Have you noticed the air's cleaner?
yeah, the
And
animals.
yeah, animals are coming
That's
back. I saw a fox, and yeah, and it is that kind of thing of the ends justify the means. Um, but I also love that Yates he gets his redemption later on.
to do the unit stuff. I
Mm.
love Benton in this. How he
Oh,
sort of
he's
just
fantastic. Yeah,
he's sort of just caught up in it all.
yeah.
Because you have the fun of like the Brig and Benton trying to be with the Doctor and protect him
Mm,
and fight for him, whereas everybody else is gradually turning. Because, like you said, there's lots of double crosses here, people playing different sides, people you think are your friend and being not.
mm.
But throughout it all, the brig is there for the Doctor, so is Benton.
It's the dynamic between them at this point. They're so close. They're like a dysfunctional family. And Benton was like, "Come on then, Doctor, you better use your Venusian what's it on me. You better knock me out." And he just stands there, and that smile that the Doctor does. Yeah, it's good fun. I really like Sarah in this. She's so good. So this is only her second appearance, and it's just amazing to see her just rock up there, looking for answers, doing a journalist stuff, and the journalist stuff being relevant to the plot, like
Yeah.
it was in the Time Warrior, taking the photos, not just being a damsel in distress. Obviously, she gets her moments. I love her reaction when she realised she's been played first by the MP.
Yeah, I forget his
Like,
name,
oh,
but
and then with General Finch, it's like, oh,
again, that sort of
and, and she's so funny with it as well. I think that could be like hard to do and take seriously. But yeah, I think everyone's funny. And I know John Pertwee, he didn't want to be there really in that last series.
yeah, he was sort of there because he had to be a little bit, wasn't it?
But I don't get a sense of that with this one. I
Oh
do in
God,
later
no.
episodes. But in this one, again,
I
is
think
brilliant.
he's just enjoying the farce sort of nature of this story in bits because it is a
Yeah.
little bit written like that in a good way. Like I said, he's enjoying being chased down by the soldiers and then having to run away and then getting captured again and sort of having to deal with the brig. Like it's sort of he loves he can tell he's having a really good time.
But yeah, overall, I just think it's just a brilliant piece of storytelling. And for me, it doesn't matter that the dinosaurs aren't fully realised. I mean, have you watched it with the new effects?
No, but here's the thing: I don't mind the effects; they don't bother me because at least they could have gone. Oh, we haven't got a lot of money because it's classic Who. Let's just have a couple of dinosaurs. They do as much as they can, and like they have T Rexes, they have pterodactyls, they have Brachio, they have a Stegosaurus. Like they have as much as they can. You can tell
Yeah.
they were like, no, our remit is dinosaurs. We are going to give you dinosaurs. And that's what I love about this story. And like the T Rex keep appearing and being like this like force, which is like the sort of oh it's here again. Like how are we going to escape
Yeah.
sort of part, which is what I quite like about this story as well.
And it's so much fun, and I think if you were a kid at the time, and
Oh, this was probably
please tell
amazing.
us in the comments, your minds was just being
Blown.
blown just to see, Doctor Who and dinosaurs, wow. And actually, on the start of it, it's really quite terrifying, when there's nobody
Yes,
about,
it
and
sets the
it's
tone.
very dark, actually. It's
Yeah,
very
it's like
unsettling.
this, and like when the Doctor and Sarah are trying to use the phone and are
Mm,
just waiting about because they don't know what's happening. It sort of makes you go, oh, this is now serious. Sort of how that scene in the
mm,
Jurassic World movie set the tone of this is
mm.
dangerous, this is something to fear. It's this idea of what's happened, why is everybody gone? It really makes you sort of ask questions.
As far as I know, the director Paddy Russell, she went out like in early hours around London and filmed them shots. So them shots were real. But yeah, I thought that worked really well. Um, but yeah, and then we went years and years without any dinosaurs
Yeah,
until, cause you never actually saw them in Earthshock. They were just alluded to, weren't they? It were just dinosaur
yeah.
bones. And then I think the next time we see them is the pterodactyl in the Wedding of River Song at the beginning when the
Oh,
planet's all weird because it's Winston Churchill and Silurians and
was that
pterodactyls.
before this? What before?
Yeah,
Right, okay, I didn't know that was before or after
because
Spaceship.
Wedding of River Song was the finale for season 6.
Oh, okay.
And Dinosaurs on a Spaceship is the second episode of.
Okay.
Series 7. Do we call it Series 7 or is it Series 7A?
I don't do that anymore. I just know
I
it's
don't.
in my
It's
head.
still
It's Series 7.
confusing. Series 7. So it was a lovely, wonderful surprise to get dinosaurs again for Dinosaurs in a Spaceship. And again, and I love the title is just, we're just going to tell you what
Yeah.
happened. Apparently that was based on, do you remember that daft film, Snakes on a Plane?
Oh, that makes sense now. I didn't think at the time, but
I think
yeah, you can
that's
see
what
the play
inspired.
on words there.
And I think the most amazing thing about this is it was a Chris Chibnall episode, and it's a good one. Let's talk about that.
Here's the thing. There's bits of this because I hadn't watched this in ages since like when I watched it again.
Yeah.
Bits of this are good.
Mm.
Not going to deny that. But then there's other bits which I could feel like, oh god, it's all the traits then we saw times 10
Yes.
later on when he became showrunner. So, do you want to
I
start with the bits we like first?
yes. Anything with Brian Ponding.
Yes.
He's just it was just mad that we weren't introduced to him
Earlier.
sooner. A little bit, if you want to be really finicky, they did get married and he wasn't at the wedding, but okay, we can overlook that. Just curious that that's the first time the Doctor's met him, but he was at the wedding. But
Yeah,
he just steals the scene
he does.
in everything. I think even Matt Smith's kind of like working hard
To
to
try and
not.
get the attention back on him sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. I love the setup. I love the idea of the Silurian arc. I like Solomon. He is a little bit one-dimensional, but however, on the rewatch, I found that really refreshing because it was like
Yes.
a villain, just to be a villain. Let's just have a
Yeah.
black-hearted.
I think if you're going to do a bit one dimensional, do the best version of that. And this is
Yeah.
the best version of he is beyond horrible.
Oh,
He's selfish, he uses people, he kills the Triceratops just to prove
mm,
a point. He's like I said, he's black hearted.
mm,
And I think that can be compelling then, because at least you've got this real nasty piece of work. And it also makes then the Doctor sort of have to change how
mm,
he's acting, because I've said this recently with Matt. When he got angry, he completely changed. And it was so
yeah,
fascinating to see on screen. You saw that coldness come into him. You saw the quietening of his voice, the more deliberate choosing
mm,
of certain words. And he's reacting because of how, like I said, how morally corrupt Solomon is. It brings out a bit of the worst in the Doctor again, which in this way,
it
I think
does.
this is how you do it.
It does. I mean, it's quite the tonal shift. Let's be honest,
Yeah,
because it's been very kind of happy-go-lucky up to this point, and it's like, wow, okay, we're doing this. And yeah, and you can argue, did the Doctor go too far? But you are kind of, as a viewer, you are like, well, he did this, he did that, he killed Tracy, Oh, sorry, he killed
yeah,
Tracy. And yeah, and I well realised with that dinosaur, I really cared about that dinosaur.
yeah.
That was a really good, because I think it wasn't all
Well,
CG. I think I'm
well,
sure.
they were riding on it, so I think some of it was probably real and some of it was CG.
So that was a really good, and again, Murray Gold with the music, which wasn't over the top. That was quite subtle for a change on that scene. It just sold you on it that, this poor dinosaur,
Yeah,
this poor creature, um, who helped them. Um, yeah, and yeah, just the rage, like you were saying, the quiet rage
yeah,
in Matt's eyes, and the fact that he'd already been forced to help heal him.
yes.
Um,
And he did that by threatening Rory as well. He like
Yeah.
that's the thing with Matt's doctor. You don't threaten the people he cares
Mm.
about, and he
Yeah.
did
Well,
that.
they shot and Brian gets shot as well. Yeah, he doesn't like being, working under duress. But yeah, I think Matt's brilliant in this. And I like and the subtle things he does with his face, especially at the end, how he realizes that his time with Amy and Rory is
Yeah, the
getting
scene
short.
when basically Amy says you haven't been to see us for a while,
Mm,
and that brilliantly acted by
mm,
um, Karen. Like you can see she's sort of trying not to show how much it's hurting her,
mm,
but it's clearly hurting her that he's not been for a while. And he sort of says, "Well, we agreed this, didn't we?" So it's this lovely moment of both those characters sort of at this weird impasse of one's starting to step back
mhm,
and the other one is sort of still clinging on to him. And he's sort of trying to gently say to her,
mm.
you have a life, you have Rory, you need to sort of,
Yeah,
I can't keep coming into your life and stopping it. You need to live your life. And that's sort of, it's all subtext, a lot of that, and it's
yeah.
brilliantly sort of written and acted between the two of them.
The robots.
Yes.
I just don't think there was any need for them.
I,
I hated the voices. I mean,
yeah,
I like Mitchell and Webb as comedians, but God, they're irritating.
yeah,
I
for
d-
me, the robots in themselves weren't bad idea. It was they based for me. It was one of those things that New Who is guilty of now and again.
mm,
Of we've got a celebrity voice, we've got a well-known comedian or a well-known actor.
mm,
Let's just shove them in without really changing it. Because you just go, oh, that's David Mitchell, that's Robert Webb. They just act themselves or like a really exaggerated version.
yeah, and it just grated on me, and it undermined. Then when they did shoot Brian, they're trying to be threatening. Well,
Yeah,
you're not threatening because you're just bickering. I mean, the design were great,
yeah, I love the design.
and then because all they were really there for is to get the Doctor, Brian, and Rory away from the pterodactyls
Yeah,
and to shoot Brian. I just think that function could have been performed by a
yeah.
Silurian.
But luckily, they
Um,
weren't in the scenes too much. You could sort of just ignore them.
no, I mean I can deal with them. Um, and the other cast, I mean, again, really one-dimensional. I like Riddell. I love Rupert Graves. I loved him in Sherlock. I've seen him in
Yeah.
other things. I like the character. There just wasn't enough for him to do. He just seemed to
Yeah.
be there to be a stereotypical male and to get nagged at.
Yeah. So at times, you have really good dialogue and lovely character beats. And like I said, it's nice and pacey, like it's got that adventure feel.
Mm,
And then all at once, you get lectured to. And that's the way I would describe it because Rendell, I think he's called, he's this game hunter. He's just there for them to call him sexist every 5 minutes.
yeah, these.
And and the problem is then you've got Nefertiti that every bit of dialogue is telling you how amazing she is and how Amy's like gushing over her.
Mm,
And it's like for me that's that tribunal dialogue once again of
mm,
he couldn't help himself. The female character had to be put on a
mm.
pedestal and the male character had to be derided.
Uh, I I remember not noticing it on first watch,
Yeah. I
but
don't think I did as much.
when I rewatched it this week, yeah, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought, oh my God, it's all there. What was to become?
Yeah.
I think there were points where Amy was even starting to annoy me, and I really like her character.
Well, she had that line about one night. She says to him, "Oh, sorry." Nefertiti says, "Are you a queen?" And she goes, "Yes." And I'm just like, "You sound horrible because you're talking about Rory there."
Yeah, I get that. I think at the time, I found it amusing at the time. Like, she's just pretending that she's a queen in front of her. But then I was actually thinking, yeah, you're right. We're 3 seasons in, and Rory's being the butt of the jokes again, and he's, always getting pulled down, and belittled. But yeah, I just thought Yeah, Riddell. Is it Riddell?
Yeah, I think that's how you
Game
say it.
Hunter. You know, he's an heroic character. All right, okay, so he's not royalty, but he's there for a purpose. He's there to help the Doctor. The Doctor's trusted him enough
Yeah, to
to
bring
bring
him.
him on this mission because he went to fetch him. If you remember,
Yeah.
Nefertiti was
Sort of
just
put
there because
himself in the TARDIS.
she was chasing. Which I hated that. It wasn't
Mm.
as bad as like Tennant, but it was creeping in with Matt's Doctor as well. Like, oh, we've
Yes.
got to be all over him. So yeah, she was irritating at the start, and I'm like, she's supposed to be this brilliant ruler, and you've just made her this really like thirsty woman because that's
Yeah.
what she is, just lusting after the Doctor and then Riddell.
I mean, she
Um,
has. I like that she sacrifices herself and is willing to go with Solomon. Like, that's a lovely sort of moment. But
that
I
was a
felt
good.
like Riddell also needed a moment like that.
It did. I wonder if there was one and there just wasn't time.
Maybe.
But yeah, I see. I do get what you mean. I was getting exasperated. We're like, all right, she's a queen, and what has she done? She's not done anything else until then. When she stands up
Yeah.
and she's like, no, I will. It's like, okay, you get respect for that. But I also love that. However much Chibnall were trying to make Riddell an arsehole, the more he was an arsehole, I think the more I liked him, and the more the characters like him, to the point where Nefertiti stays with him
Yeah.
at the end. And I'm just like, you just totally. All you've done is reassert that ladies like a bad boy, Chris. That's all you've done.
Yeah. Like I said, he sort of had a moment with the Raptors. But even
Uh,
then, he had to have a comment when like Amy was like, "I'll come,"
yeah.
and he had a comment then to
Oh
sort of
yeah,
say,
because
"Well, you're
he
a
said,
woman," sort of thing.
yeah, yeah, 'cause he said this is a job for two men.
Yeah. And then he sort of looked at Amy when she said, "All right, I'm coming then."
Yeah,
So that's what I mean. It's like every time they were just about getting
mm,
somewhere with his character, they had to put him down.
yeah, and you were just
And to be
kind of,
honest, that sort of writing, like you, I was actually enjoying bits of this, and then that
mm,
writing took me out of it. And then luckily, we'd get a bit more of Solomon or the Doctor or Amy or Rory or Brian, and it would get me back into it.
I did feel sorry for Rory because I felt like he was getting it from all sides. Because he was even, yeah, I think it was being put down by Brian, but it was a different
It
dynamic.
was like a father-son dynamic, so I
Yeah,
didn't
it,
mind
it, it
that.
didn't feel
Didn't
like
bother
he
me.
was, he wasn't manly enough because he didn't know how to do the light fitting. He didn't have a trowel. He didn't have a trowel, but then you get to see what is his skills.
Yeah,
It's got
the
his,
nurse stuff,
his nursing
which was
and that respect, and then the two of them coming together to steer
yes, the
the
ship.
ship. So I get that plot point, but I just thought, oh, for goodness sake, give Rory a break.
If you take all that out, this is a fun romp sort of
Yes.
story. This is when Doctor Who, it's not like a massive story arc thing, it's not a finale. It's sort of that let's just have a concept and play with it, which Doctor Who does very well. And I feel like it's sort of doing that. And then Chibnall had to have his little look at me, I'm a feminist moment.
It did. And it's meant to be a fun one because you think it's sandwiched between Asylum,
Yeah.
which is really heavy, and then A Town Called Mercy, which again, it's another heavy hitter. So we needed some
Yeah, a
level
bit of
to.
yeah, that sort of fun again.
But I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed it. And again, what's really funny is in Dinosaurs in a Spaceship, again, yeah, okay, they're in the title. They're not actually the main thing of the story.
No, there's
And
other
I just think there's
themes,
a
there's
nice little
other
bit of symmetry there. And they're both the second story in a series. And like,
yeah.
I just thought that's quite curious. Um, but yeah, I do like the dinosaurs as a side issue. And again, they're acting just like dinosaurs are. They're just animals that have unfortunately been on this arc. But yeah, so I think, if you haven't rewatched Dinosaurs in a Spaceship for a while. I think it is worth
Yeah,
rewatching for Brian and for
yeah,
Matt and for Karen and Arthur.
yeah. I think because it's a Chibnall episode, it's very easy to go, oh, it's all bad. And it's not.
Yeah,
There's good
yeah,
in this episode.
yeah. It
And
is.
like you,
I had to laugh though. There's another countdown in it. There's always a
oh, there's always a
countdown in a
countdown with
Chibnall.
Chibnall.
Oh, you just can't help.
But yeah, I would sort of like we said with our last one we did when we looked at an episode and we rewatched it.
Mm.
It's like I think sometimes with New Who, it's definitely worth going back to these sort of midpoint or not so much massive openers or finales,
Yeah,
just to have fun with a one shot sort of story and see how you take it. You might love it more, you might hate it more. That's also the fun of going back to these stories. You change your opinion a lot, I find.
definitely. And it's made me want to rewatch series 7.
Yeah,
Because that was one. I wouldn't say the magic was starting to go. But for me, series 7, I think once Amy and Rory had gone,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it was a joy seeing Matt again. I've got to admit, after we were talking about Matt on last week's show. Again, he's just he's such a star. He's just everything, the humour, the alienness. But when Brian asks him what's going on, he just sticks his tongue out and starts tasting. Well, it's not Earth.
or
It's metallic.
or like when Rory and Brian are saying about like Christmas lists, and he go and like Rory says, I don't have a Christmas list," and Matt goes, "Sorry," the Doctor goes, "I do."
I
I
do,
feel like
yeah.
that's a response the 11th Doctor would
And that is just,
absolutely have.
yeah, and it's perfect for the 11th Doctor to have. And then, yeah, to see him be like that, as just be like a little kid. Even at the beginning, when he sees the dinosaurs and Amy has to literally pull him
Pull him away, yeah.
away because that is what he did. And then just to see him, basically murder Solomon. I mean, he did deserve it.
Yes.
But again, yeah, it's just, Doctor Who was so good
But
when Matt was around.
yeah, I think he was appreciated during the time because he
Mm,
very quickly dispelled the
mm,
sort of, oh, he's not going to do it attitude that he had at the beginning because he was coming after Tennant.
mhm.
But I think we didn't quite realise how much of a talented actor we had in the lead at that time. Until now, I think we're realising that more and more.
If he'd have stayed on and then Chibnall still had took over, I wouldn't want to see him decline like the
No,
way.
but I think he would have kept with Moffat because we still had a whole Doctor after him.
Mm,
But yeah. So yeah, that those are sort of my thoughts on Dinosaurs. Like I said,
mm.
we weren't going to do a massive same for Invasion, just a sort of rough feelings what we felt watching them again. And it'd be lovely, like we said, if you guys after when you watch this when it goes out, tell us your experiences with these episodes, or if you watch Jurassic World Rebirth, tell us how you felt about that. These sort of ones we do when it's me and Sarah, we love looking at the comments afterwards, and we reply the ones we can,
Yes.
and just get involved, like you said, in the comments as much as you can. We
Yeah,
really do enjoy it.
we do. And and especially if you watched Invasion of the Dinosaurs on
Yes.
broadcast, if you were a kid in the 70s, because we're never really going to know what that feels like. We can try and imagine, and we have you know, maybe you watching Invasion is like how we felt when we were watching Jurassic Park. So I love that. I'm just enjoying talking about good Doctor Who. So yeah, please
Yeah.
share your thoughts. And is there anything else you'd like us to talk about? Could this be the start of something else like the Queen Charlotte and Starry Film Club? Like, or with the new, I could be Starry Norman. That could be, Starry Norman and the Queen Charlotte drinker.
That doesn't quite roll off, but yeah.
It's a work in progress, we'll sort
But
it.
yeah.
But yeah, and until next time, we'll see you about in the universe. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you'll see us soon somewhere. Bye-bye. Beep. There we go, he's had his beep.